Welcome back to Module 2. So we are going to dig into Myers-Briggs preferences, and our guiding question for this module is Myers-Briggs, what's below the definition? So we'll dig into what is the sort of Myers-Briggs overview, where did it come from? So the first thing that we are going to think about is, what are these Myers-Briggs preferences about? To demonstrate that, everyone grab a pen or pencil and write your name with your dominant hand. So I'm right-handed. I will write my name with my dominant hand. If you're left-handed, write your name with your left hand. Let's do that. So write your name with your dominant hand on a piece of paper. All right, now on your thought catcher, think about and notice, how did that feel? And jot it down on your thought catcher. How did that feel? Some common answers that folks often say when we complete this activity is that it felt natural, it felt good, you didn't have time to think about it, didn't need to think about it, kind of like automatic process. All right, so writing your name with your dominant hand feels kind of automatic, natural, good. Now, same pen, same piece of paper, and write your name with your non-dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, I'm gonna write my name with my left hand. Might have taken a little bit longer. So now think about and jot down on your thought catcher, how did that feel to write your name with your non-dominant hand? Thanks for doing that. This is being vulnerable. Some common answers are that folks often say it felt unnatural, it felt difficult, it felt weird, we needed more time, needed some support. I had to think about it a little bit. So that's how it often feels to write our name with our non-dominant hand. Handedness, like using your right hand or your left hand, is the metaphor that Carl Jung, who came up with what is now called the Myers-Briggs type indicator, he used handedness as a metaphor for the Myers-Briggs preferences. So we're going to talk about what that means. If you look on this little column or this table, on the left side, we have dominant hand and preference. So again, when we're using our dominant hand, for me, that's my right hand, it's natural, it feels good. I don't have to think about it. It's kind of automatic. That's how we think about when we're in preference, when we're in our Myers-Briggs type and operating. For instance, I'm an ENTP, so when I'm operating as an extrovert, talking to people, engaging with the outside world, it feels natural, it feels comfortable. As long as I'm not under stress, it can feel like pretty normal and automatic. I don't have to think about it. One of my biggest preferences is to brainstorm. I love to brainstorm. If you have a question and want to just riff and talk about ideas, that feels so natural and comfortable to me. It's like using my right hand, no problem. In life, we can also use our non-dominant hand. So for me, my left hand. If I need to, I can write with my left hand. I wash my hair with both hands. I can put on my glasses, take them off with both hands. Drive, there's a lot of things we do with both of our hands or with our non-dominant hand. The difference is that it can feel like uncomfortable, not in preference, if we are using that non-dominant hand, non-preferred side for too long. And so again, when we're out of preference, for me as an introvert, like when I'm using that non-dominant side, when I'm using my introverted side, I can do it, but it feels a little bit unnatural, feels a little weird. I might need some more time to think about it. And so to demonstrate, quick story. So I am an extrovert again, when I'm working. So a lot of what we're doing with this course is about work, right? So when I'm working, I prefer to talk out ideas, to brainstorm with other people. I can't always do that. And when I need to make a difficult decision, I do go to my introverted side, and I'll often create a spreadsheet. It's the tool that I've started using over the years, and it's been really helpful for me. So I can spend time in that introverted side. But when I spend too much time on the introverted side, it can make me a little tired. I might get more stressed. I get worn down more quickly if I spend too much time there. And so knowing that about myself, I try to spend time doing extroverted things every day where possible. Right now I'm recording during the pandemic, almost hit a year in the pandemic. And so that's, of course, been really challenging for everyone. As an extrovert, it's been particularly challenging to not be able to spend time with loved ones and to brainstorm in person and do things like that very frequently. So I've tried to have more video calls with friends to brainstorm, or just to be honest with people I work with. Hey, I need time to talk things out. And even with my introverted friends to say, I need time to like just be in person. Can we just hang out in person? So it's important to understand that metaphor of handedness. Hey, like I can operate in both worlds. I can use all these different types that we'll go through during the course together, but it feels way more natural and comfortable on one side. We don't want that to put us into a box. We don't want to make excuses with that, but it helps us to develop more self-understanding and understanding of others so that we can continue to build awareness of how to maximize our own performance and to help support others to create safe spaces. Throughout this course, we're going to dig into what are our different preferences, right? We've got extrovert or introvert, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, judging or perceiving. And so where did this come from? This came from psychologist Carl Jung, who created the system after observing folks over time. And he wrote about it in a book called Psychological Types in the 1920s. Wrote about like extrovert and introversion, sensing, intuition, thinking, feeling, and then the concept that has now become judging or perceiving. And so a couple women, a mother-daughter team, Catherine Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers, loved this work by Jung. They loved it in their personal life. At the time, there were not a lot of work opportunities for women. So they created their own system called Myers-Briggs Type Indicator to be able to codify what Jung had said and to sort of use it in layman's terms for folks. So to spread it to the masses, to let other folks know what this was all about, they created what's now called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. So it's been used for decades. Every year, millions of people take the indicator and use it with their teams. It's translated into 30 plus languages and used across the world. So it's a really great system, one tool that we can use for common language. As we said in the beginning, it doesn't explain everything, but it can help us to build trust and develop self-awareness as well. So I'm really excited to share this with y'all today. And another thing to understand is that there's no good or bad types. It's not a test for unusual behavior or something like that. It's just a tool for us to use for increased self-understanding, understanding of others, and building additional trust on our teams. And so as we go through the modules together, we'll go through all the Myers-Briggs preferences that Jung talked about and that Isabel Briggs and Catherine Briggs Myers put into this system that we now have. And so that first letter is extroversion or introversion. It's how we draw our energy. The second letter is sensing or intuition. The information, what kind of information we prefer, how do we prefer to take that in? Then once we've taken that information in, the third letter is thinking or feeling. So how we prefer to make decisions. We all think and feel, but we have a preference for what they call thinking or feeling in the Myers-Briggs system, how we make decisions. So we'll dig into that during the thinking module. And then the last letter is judging or perceiving, which is our lifestyle. So we'll dig in more into that, but it's essentially like, do we prefer to make decisions with all these things that we encounter in our lives? Or do we prefer to keep our options open as long as possible? So that's like how we get our four letters, are these four buckets. And remember, I'll talk about this a lot, but with the handedness, we do all experience each of the preferences at different times. We just have a preferred comfort level with one over the other for each of these dichotomies. All right, so we're at the end of module 2. Remember, on your thought catcher, you have your individual reflection for this module. So go ahead and take time to complete your individual reflection on your thought catcher. Share in your Thinkific discussion posts. We'll read all of those and we may even reply. Helps us to get some additional information about where folks are and how to support you. And then we'll join you back in module 3 whenever you're ready, today or another day. Come back and see me there and we'll dig into that first Myers-Briggs letter, extroversion or introversion.